Please remember to like, subscribe and comment, as we love to hear back from our viewers. Also, if you enjoy our videos, please consider becoming a patron of our show through Patreon and or GoFundMe. Links are listed below the video in the description. From the deepest, darkest recesses of Dangerous Nerds headquarters, Keith Moncrief and Gerry Kissell.
Greetings, Miss Moneypenny. My name is Sean Connery, and this is Dr. Evil. That's Keith.
Dr. Jellyfinger.
Dr. Jellyfinger. Anyway, that's Keith.
That's Gerry.
It is a Pop Culture Minefield. It's Saturday morning. I hope you brought your bowl of cereal, for goodness sake, because we're going to be talking about Saturday morning awesome stuff. And of course, the one thing we want to talk about is that this show is chock full of vitamins and minerals, and it stays crunchy in milk. So, let's see. Let's get some of the news out of the way, shall we?
Yes, well, first up, the trailer for Terminator Dark Fate has been released. Oh, yeah. Director Tim Miller.
And Tim, of course, you know from Deadpool. He did the first Deadpool, which for some reason, it was sad that he didn't come back for the second film, but the fact is, I think Ryan had a better grasp on where it needed to go.
Yeah.
And he went off to better pastures, and he's working on this film. Now, I watched it. You watched it.
Yes.
I'm assuming you guys watch it. If not, go watch it before continuing. Pause us. But either way it goes, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. I really am.
Big time.
But I'm going to make fun of it. I'm going to make fun of the fact that I saw the future. It is woman. It is all women. There are no men. The only men are the villains. They're the robots.
I just
thought that was kind of goofy. I'm just sitting there going, is it just me, or are all the protagonists in this female? There are no male protagonists. And they only show Schwarzenegger for like 1 second. It's like, knock at the door. He opens the door. Hello, I'm old crabby Schwarzenegger. I look like I'm old, because I am. And then he cuts away. He doesn't even say anything.
And Diego Luna.
And Diego Luna, well, again, a villain.
Yeah.
He's the bad Terminator.
What? He's not bad. But he just has a different kind of assignment.
Which is so funny to me, because now, Tim, I don't know much about him.
Yeah.
But I do know that the gentleman in charge of Alita Battle Angel, great at making movies showing strong females, but both men in real life are horrible womanizers. They are. And they act like they're these virtue they are just virtue signaling. And they're just trying to score points because they are horrible womanizers. But Tim, on the other hand, I have no idea. I've never heard anything bad about him. I've heard a lot of good things about him. He's a real nice guy.
Did I say Diego Luna? I meant Gabriel Luna.
You're
Two different
with Hispanic names. You just offended the entire culture. The entire culture.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, man.
I'm sorry.
How do you say that in Spanish?
I'm sorry.
I don't know. Gracias. I love my Spanish family. I have a lot of Mexicans in my family, so I'm sure they're laughing at my stupidity right now. Anyway, so the Terminator trailer dropped. It was good. It was good. A lot of good action in it. I am so excited to have Linda back.
Oh, big time. Big time.
But is it her or her sister? You never know. Because she did a lot of the pickup shots for her.
Well, it helps when you're identical twins. Yeah,
they're identical twins. So, and they're both hot. Well, they were. I think they're still good looking. But I like the trailer, and so did you. So
it was a good trailer, and this was
doesn't tell you much, which is nice.
Yes, the fact is that we're still several months away from the release of that film, so this was something to really whet your appetite and to get you to want to see more. So anybody, let's just say you came into this not wanting to see the movie, As long as the film took your level of expectation and raised it,
Yeah.
it's a good trailer. That's
Yeah.
as much
And
as you
another
need to
sign
do.
of a good trailer is, like I said, where it doesn't give you too damn much of the story, but gives you things that whet your appetite, like you said.
Yeah.
It gets you interested in wanting to go see the movie,
Yes.
which is vital. The
Yes.
problem with trailers, through the history of making trailers, giving up way too much, and I don't think they did. It looked like a very blank slate thing, because we don't even know what Schwarzenegger's character is or is doing. We've heard rumors, but we're not going to really find out till we see the movie, I'm assuming, or at least until the first official trailer, because this is the teaser trailer. And speaking of teaser trailers, we had another one.
Yes. Star Trek, Picard released
Make it so.
Released a teaser trailer for the upcoming Picard series, as it will be seen on Amazon.
Not Netflix,
Yeah,
because that deal's done.
big time.
They burned that bridge by taking that money and not delivering what they promised.
Yep. Let's just say, if you, how would you characterize that trailer again?
I thought it was an ad for some sort of wine. At first, it's like, what the heck am I watching? It's like, and then you hear this Michael Burnham-esque, emotionless, cold voiceover, and it sounded like Miss Green.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it sounded just like her. I'm like, where did they find someone that sounds just like her? And apparently, that is a type that Alex Kurtzman likes, is women with no feeling. Makes me wonder about his marriage. It's like there's no emotion. Yeah, I know, you finally get that one. It's like, put it in me. Put it in me. I'm sorry. More, but with feeling. No, it's like, that's something you'll never hear in anything he directs. Alex Kurtzman. More, but with feeling. And so you get this narration, and you get these images of a vineyard, and these hovering sprinkler system, and more of this thing, and you see the bottles of wine in crates, and it says Picard, and you know, it's like, okay, so he's back at the thing, but the entire narration is so a typical Alex Kurtzman down. So we have no feeling. We're just gonna talk like that character from Family Guy.
Or at least Thurston Howell III, drunk.
Oh, love it, yeah, love it.
Just slower and drunk.
Yeah. So you got this Michael Burnham girl talking about how everything failed, and they were referencing, apparently, because I never read the Star Trek comic book prequel to, well, I did read the one short story about Harry Mudd. Yeah. That was the only thing I read. And I thought that was halfway decent, but I didn't like some of the changes they made to the ship or the character.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, they had the Harry Mudd prequel, but they also had the prequel that showed the whole Romulan thing, Spock and the red
matter.
Red matter.
Basically, it was an entire prequel comic by Alex Kurtzman and Roberta Orci.
Which, if Roberta was in there, you know that there was something good in there.
Yeah, it was just meant to give you a pre-story to the story for the 2009 movie. The other significance is that it pretty much helps you to understand that all of the characters, including Mr. Spock, were a part of this new universe.
Prime, they call it.
Yeah, so even though Spock travels back in time, that is not the original
It's not the
Spock.
canon universe, it's the Prime universe. And then, of course, JJ's universe, once they changed the timeline, became Kelvin. So, because of the USS Kelvin, if you didn't figure that one out. Yeah. It's like, why are they using a form of measurement for the timeline? Because it's the name of the ship, silly. So
I like to call it the CBS universe.
Well, it is. You're totally right when you call it that, because what it is, and he's said it more eloquently than I could, but basically CBS was looking a way of writing out Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek
And Paramount.
and creating Paramount and creating CBS's own version of Star Trek.
That's what all of
that
this
it owned
is.
completely, and that's why it is so wildly, excuse my French, fucked up.
Your French is getting better.
It is. Moi, le voici dans ce parfumeur, je suis horrible.
Yeah, qui a cru la fromage?
So, now that we're done speaking shitty French, basically, you've got this comic that tells us basically what they're doing in the Picard movie, or series. So the Picard series is post the F up of Spock disappearing and the failure to save Romulus. And they put it so down that, so you left Starfleet, like, after that, because you were upset, disappointed with Starfleet, and...
I think I have another idea. Okay.
And then it shows, Jean-Luc Picard, played by, of course, the ever-lovable Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
But, and we got a glimpse earlier in the week, of the uniforms. And the uniforms are similar to Deep Space Nine, but it's that, as Gary Beckler put it, that 25% difference for the licensing and shit. And the thing is, the thing that I don't like about it, and he caught it too while we were talking, it looks like bad cosplay.
Basically.
The collars look just really awful. It doesn't look fitted. It looks like he's just sort of like, got the wrong size uniform. It's like, and they put the epaulet pins for the rank on the chest, which I think would look better on a bar, not on, like, individually stuck on the chest.
Actually, that was actually done in the prequel comic.
A bar?
The epaulets on.
No, I saw that on the drawing of Data, and it had his commander, what was it, Lieutenant Commander or whatever. Yeah, and the pips themselves look good on him. Yeah, but in the photo we saw, it just looks sloppy. It looks like somebody wearing bad cosplay.
Yeah, bad clothes. I mean, seriously, just if you're spending the kind of money that they're spending on Star Trek,
I bet you it's not going to be as much as they spent on Discovery.
Oh, jeez.
Amazon has deep, deep pockets, but they're not going to fall for that Netflix shit.
I think Gary is right. I think, according to what he's hearing, the rumor is that even Amazon now is out. That's the word.
Oh wait, Gary Beekler said that too?
Oh yeah.
Oh, in the video. See, I didn't get to finish it. I told you I started watching it, but I didn't finish. I got about halfway through. Out. So, that's interesting. Could it be because somebody went and checked what happened with the last series?
Can I see some pictures? Can I see some moving video?
Can we see some statistics from what you just did? 15 million an episode, huh? I don't know. I don't think we're going to do that.
Might have to rethink that.
So, CBS is in serious trouble. Forbes magazine gives Netflix just 175 days, and that was a week ago. So now we're down to about 169 days. Mm-hmm. And
look,
before they implode.
If Netflix goes out, they are going to go flame out in spectacular fashion.
They're going to take CBS down with them.
They have some really cool programs that people actually want to see versus CBS with, they have some programs.
Yeah, they got some stuff.
Yeah.
Occasionally put out a colorized I Love Lucy, which is not bad. So, yeah. During the holidays.
Yeah, it's everything that anybody under the age of 20 really wants to see.
Yeah. So, CBS is in trouble. And they're eyeing right now, what was it, Lionsgate.
Yeah, I thought they were eyeing Stars.
Well, I thought they were eyeing Lionsgate. Maybe I misunderstood what Susan. We talk to Susan all the time. Hi, Susan. We love you.
Hi, Susan.
Susan was posting some stuff, and I was trying to... I was working on stuff today, and I was trying to rush through reading it, and I probably misunderstood it, but it looked like they were saying that Stars is being okay.
There's some financial difficulties, basically, and CBS is looking at acquiring Stars for around $5 billion.
Which explains why they canceled Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Everybody's having money problems.
So, yeah. And the streaming war is about to start on November 12th.
Oh, I think it's already started.
Well, the pre-shots. That's for sure.
It's already started. I mean, if you're not doing something now, you might as well just,
hang it up.
Yeah.
You're done.
You're done. You are so done.
Stick a thing in me. Ew. I'm done. Why do you want things stuck in you? That's so gross.
And speaking of being done, we'll go on to the next story. Ronald D. Moore had some words to say.
A name for which we have a lot of respect for.
Yes.
He's one of the best writers and showrunners.
Yeah, somebody that actually experienced the other side of the whole Alex Kurtzman, Roberta Orsi thing. He and his former writing partner who broke up, and Ronald D. Moore is knocking it out of the park. And what's his former writer partner doing right now? Oh yeah, they let him basically have his say on the Orville.
Yeah. And the thing that's funny to me is there were, as much as I love the Orville, there was a little bit of underhanded shenanigans going on to get that show, because they lied to CBS, telling them that it was a straight up parody. And but anyway, going back to it, so Ronald D. Moore is talking about Game of Thrones, and you've already heard our Game of Thrones episode.
Everybody's had something to say.
Yeah, and so he's not really defending the guys from Game of Thrones, which he remembers the name.
Benninghoff and Weiss.
Yeah, I never remember their names. I'll never.
Yeah, AKA Cha-Ching.
Even after they do their Star Wars films, I still don't remember who that is. Their names are just too weird, and they're verbally not something that just rolls off the tongue.
I called them Big Money and Change.
Which one's which?
It depends on the day you catch me.
Okay. So basically, he's basically saying, look, man, the fans, you can't make every fan happy. The fans to begin with are almost always split down the middle. There's this fans who like this aspect of something. There's this group of fans that love it for this aspect, and they don't often agree. And so then all of them are saying, well, this is what should have happened. Well, who are you supposed to listen to? Mm-hmm. Well, you have to listen to yourself. And that's what Ronald D. Moore is saying. You have to trust yourself in telling these stories. But Ronald D. Moore himself, and as I recall, correct me if I'm wrong, got his break because he was a fan of Star Trek and had written some ideas down, I think, on a napkin.
Yeah.
And had showed it, and they were like, you need to come in. And he got his gig with Star Trek. He was a fan, got a gig with Star Trek. And so they do look for that shit.
Yes.
And what they do is they have people that work for the showrunners. What they do is they parse through everybody's shit, and they look for like those nuggets of wisdom that come from somebody. They go, this is interesting. This is close to what we're trying to do. Let's talk about this, because this is really close to what we're thinking. So they'll do that, but they won't give you any credit for it. They'll just do it, and then they'll go, hey, some dude from Wisconsin goes, I guessed it. No, you actually predicted it, and they saw that, and they borrowed it. And we all know they do that. But the fact is, the writer's room is not a democracy. It's not a democracy, and that is really what Ronald D. Moore is trying to say, and it's true. So everybody who's upset about Game of Thrones, which we had problems with the show. I mean, that last season was, it was like they were phoning it in. It was not that good. The dialogue was like first draft quality dialogue. Just like, let's just throw this in here and we'll replace it later. And then they didn't replace it with actual meaningful, well thought out dialogue. So we have characters known for delivering these great lines throughout the series. All of a sudden this season just saying things like, I love you. You are my brother. Please don't die.
Bravo. That was amazing.
You know, and it's too bad that some of the scenes with Tyrion went a little shorter.
Yeah. But
I did it again.
I know. Right in there.
So, it's Saturday morning.
Yes.
We're done with the news. So we're going to move on to the
Saturday morning cartoon trivia.
Saturday morning cartoon trivia. So we're going to talk about cartoons, and we went over some stuff. You can see back here. We were reading some classic Space Ghost from DC Comics, the origin story, which I've never read, and he told me about it, and I'm like, oh well, I've got DC Universe.
It's good, and it's good for you.
It up, and that's what that is a page from the issue 1 of Space Ghost, and it's new. It came out in 1617, something like that.
Yeah.
And once again, if you have the DC Universe streaming app, guess what? You have access to every DC comic catalog all the way. Stuff going all the way back. And I love it. I went back and I read all the first issues of I just forgot his name. Lives in the swamp. Swamp Thing.
Yeah, Swamp Thing.
And back to 72. It was really good. Bernie Wrightson's art is still the bomb. I'm so grateful as an artist that I got to hang out with him and get to know him before he passed away.
Yeah.
And because my first gig with IDW was doing animated trailers for their comic titles.
Yeah.
And I did the Bernie Wrightson, Stephen Niles comic Dead She Said. And that was my very first job for IDW way back. And so I was like, I'm going to take advantage of this and I'm going to get to know him. And I became friends with Steve, and we chat every once in a while. I post on his page. He always does his weird morning stuff. And then I do dad jokes. Like this morning he posted a maze with Frankenstein's head, Boris Karloff's Frankenstein's head. And I did the that's amazing. And I put the husky dog doing this. And I got a bunch of people that thought that was funny. I was the first commenter on the page. That was amazing.
Wow, just jokes like that.
I'm a dad. I tell dad jokes.
That's what you're left with.
Hey,
You raise kids, you get dad jokes.
So, hey, Fred. Hey, Bonnie. Hey, Fred. That laughing.
Hey, Fred.
That was it. The Barney Rubble laugh.
Hey, Fred.
Hey, Fred. So, now we're talking Hanna-Barbera, which brings us back to what we're going to talk about this morning.
Yes.
Which is both of ours. It's absolutely my favorite all-time Saturday morning cartoon. And we've watched a few. I showed him a couple of things this evening. I showed you Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossibles.
Yes.
I showed you a clip from, of course, the Hercules, which you already knew anyway.
Yep.
And but then we decided we're going to talk about the #1 Saturday morning cartoon, and that was
Johnny Quest.
Rah, 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 rah. Bandit. Rah. What a great cartoon. And Hanna-Barbera really outdid themselves with that show. And the thing that sucks is it was really well received. Critics gave it good reviews. Kids loved it. But we only got one season. And
kind of like
Firefly. But in this one, there's more behind the scenes stuff that caused that than even I was aware of, because I was always left wondering, like, why did we, in the 80s they gave us another iteration, or was it the 90s? The 90s.
Yeah, it was the 90s.
They gave us another iteration, which I was not impressed with. Just that first season, that one season was amazing. Had monsters in it. It was creepy. It was scary. The drawing was realistic, but there was apparently a lot of hubbub behind the scenes with the great artist.
Well, wait a minute now. We're gonna ask trivia questions.
Oh, we're going to do trivia.
Yeah, we're going to see how smart you actually are. Now, for those too young to know anything or having never seen Johnny Quest, two things. First, what's the matter with you? It's available. Go to the library. Go to your favorite video store.
A lot of people don't know this. You can actually check out videos from your library for nothing. They have almost everything.
Yes.
They're better than Blockbuster, and they're free.
And unlike Blockbuster, they're still around.
And there's no late fees. Because it's a public library. But if you don't return it, you got to pay for it. But Johnny Quest, and the entire series is available on DVD, because I own it. And I actually have the digital copies. And I love that show. And I never get tired of it. I love the soundtrack. I loved all the mechanics of the show. The vehicles and everything. It was that realistic art. So let's start the trivia.
Okay. Your first question is...
Question number 1.
What long-running comic strip was the inspiration for Johnny Quest?
Nee, 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 nee. Boom. Dee, 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 dee.
And I'll stop you right there.
Boom.
Copyright, and everything. Anyway, the question again is, what long-running comic strip was the inspiration for Johnny Quest?
And of course, I knew the answer to this.
What was the answer?
Terry and Pirates. Amazing artwork.
If you've never heard of or read Terry and the Pirates, that's your Saturday assignment. Go
now, I don't know if Chuck Dixon is as big a fan, but I know Graham loves Terry and the Pirates. We've talked about it before. What a great comic strip. And when I saw that CG movie where all the environments were CG, what was that thing called? The Sky Pilot or whatever it was called. I thought that was what they were going to be doing. It was like some sort of take on that. But I was sadly mistaken. That's not what it was at all. But Terry and the Pirates is a great comic strip series. And it should be its own comic books. Good stuff. The artwork's incredible. And of course, that's what inspired the overall look and feel of Johnny Quest. And Johnny Quest, they wanted this realistic artwork by, are we going to do that as a question? Or?
Yeah, it's a question.
Okay, so the question then becomes...
What comic artist designed all the characters in Johnny Quest?
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. We got a little bit. We don't need game show tunes, so we're just not going to worry about it. But ba ba da ba 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 ba. And there you go. Pause the video if you don't want the answer. If you want to try to figure it out. But here's your answer.
Okay, what comic artist designed all the characters of Johnny Quest? It was the legendary Doug Wily.
And interestingly, Doug Wily is why he was explaining to me there was no second season. Is this going to be a question, or can we tell him?
Yeah, you can tell him.
Well, I was really surprised to find this out that, like, even as much as Bandit, the dog, was something that Wily didn't like. He had envisioned a monkey pet for Johnny. Yeah. And
he was not a fan of the cartoony type of thing that Hanna-Barbera had become known for.
That they would bring in, over his designs.
Yeah.
Or concepts.
Yeah.
And if you've ever seen his stuff, there's really, you can look it up. There's some great artwork out there that shows you his original sketches for the show. And of course, including the characters, Haji, Johnny,
Dr. Quest,
and of course,
Z.
Race Bannon, one of the greatest heroic cartoon characters in the history of animated cartoons. Race Bannon's a badass. In fact,
which brings us to our second or next third.
Let's go to that question.
Okay, basically, who is Race Bannon actually assigned to?
That's a good question. I think I know the answer to that, but I'm not going to say it yet because we got to give you guys a chance.
Trivia. Questions. Here comes the answer.
And
Okay. Who is Race Bannon assigned to?
Doctor?
No, Johnny Quest.
To Johnny Quest.
He is assigned to Johnny.
No kidding. I assumed he was assigned to the Doctor.
A lot of people assume that. He's actually assigned to Johnny.
By whom?
The agency that employs both Race Bannon and Dr. Quest. Basically, the understanding is that if anything ever happened to Johnny, or if Johnny was ever caught or captured, I should say, it would compromise the Doctor, and so Race Bannon was assigned to Johnny as his protector and teacher.
To make sure that didn't happen.
To make sure that definitely did not happen.
Yeah, and Race Bannon, it's so funny because like when they did the Venture Brothers, they do a great parody of it. But the fact is, I always liked that dynamic. It kind of reminded me of My Three Sons.
Yeah, it's fun. It is a fun dynamic. Again, great show.
Race Bannon and his toxic masculinity.
But we have one last question.
Oh, wait. No, before we go to that, I want to point out that Keith and I are both friends with Sandy Cholera. Hey, Sandy. And Sandy's a great effects guy. And he's been involved with stuff, and you've probably seen his short films, which includes...
Batman Dead End.
Yeah. One of the best Batman fan-made films.
Don't just take our word for it.
Go watch it.
Go watch it yourself. Somewhere on YouTube they have it. It'll... Look, it's
Walter
worth
Koenig's
your time.
late son played the Joker in it.
Yeah.
The guy playing Batman and Cholera's costume design for Batman was so good. Classic, the classic gray, black, and of course it involves the alien and the predator, and it is really good. I'm not going to tell you anymore. If you've not seen it, what the hell's wrong with you? Go watch it right now. It's available on YouTube for free. What are you waiting for?
I like that price.
Heck yeah. Now Sandy is a big Johnny Quest fan. And he had posted, and we both responded to it, which was he wants to do a test footage shotter of some sort, maybe the whole intro. Was that what he was saying?
Well, I think somebody's already done
well, I saw a CG or claymation animation version of the intro, which was really cool. He wants to do a live action one, and of course, it was obvious who should play Race Bannon. And that, of course, is Sandy himself, because Sandy is Race Bannon. I mean, if you know anything about him, if you keep up with his posts and the shit that he does, he's badass. He's a scuba guy, loves deep sea scuba diving. He's an adventure seeker. He knows his shit, and he's buff. This dude is cut. He is a muscular dude. And I'm telling you, he would be a badass Race Bannon.
Yeah, he would.
And he's got the white hair, man. The white frock of hair. Just like Race. So, we threw our 2 cents in. You are Race Bannon, Sandy Cholera.
You're a superhero is what you are. And now, the final question
of the day. Oh,
okay.
Dude, love Terry.
What cartoon was originally being considered by Hanna-Barbera before Johnny Quest?
I don't know this.
It's Jack Armstrong, All-American Boy.
I don't know anything about this.
In the opening credits of Johnny Quest, you'll notice that there are certain things. That's because the opening credits for Johnny Quest were originally created as sort of a test footage for Jack Armstrong. And when they couldn't get that together, they just turned the whole thing into Johnny Quest.
Fascinating.
Very much so.
Very much so, Miss Moneypenny. Of course. So, and that's it for the trivia. So,
and I think that's it for the show.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Okay. Well, it must be about noontime. Somewhere.
Just hit
subscribe. Hit subscribe. Tell us something. Hope you answer our question. Hope you like the trivia. And, man, comment. Comment. Let us know what you think. If you got any questions, throw them at us. And we'll address them on the show. We'll do it. You know us. Some of you people know us on Facebook anyway. So, and we're always talking to people. And with that, that's Keith.
And that's Gerry.
And this is Pop Culture Minefield on a Saturday morning, and we're tuning out. So get out of here. Get off the lawn. Get off the lawn. Go home. Go do something and clean that bowl. I saw that. You had a big bowl of cereal and you left the milk, drink the milk. Like my daughter.
That's the best part.
It's the best part. And she would just leave a big bowl of milk. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Are you housing cats?
Get out of here.
Y'all come back now, you hear?